The Deep Ocean Expedition Team are at the very beginning of a year-long mission.
Position under 8 through the water.
They will head to each of the 5 oceans, discover their deepest points, and explore their uncharted depths. Remarkably, this complex operation is being driven and financed by one man with a hugely ambitious dream. Ex-naval commander and multi-millionaire investor, Victor Vescovo.
The exciting thing about the expedition is the possibility of opening up the oceans, and they do constitute 70% of the world.
Victor has already completed what is known as the Explorer's Grand Slam, climbing the tallest peak on each continent and skiing to North and South Poles. Now he's bidding to be the first to conquer a new frontier.
I was just curious. I've always wanted to do something that has never been done before. And then it hit me, no one has actually been to the bottom of the 5 oceans.
The team's first ocean is one of the most volatile and unpredictable of all. The mighty Atlantic. Covering an extraordinary 1/5 of the Earth's surface, it generates some of the most powerful natural hazards on the planet. From the kind of deadly icebergs that sank the Titanic to devastating hurricanes. And the Atlantic's unexplored depths hold enormous dangers of their own. On average, the Atlantic stretches down around 11,000 feet. But the team are now arriving just off the island of Puerto Rico, where a mysterious trench is thought to plunge to a staggering 27,500 feet, enough to hold 22 Empire State Buildings stacked on top of each other. The pressure at such great depths is immense, the equivalent for a human body to be crushed beneath 2,500 pickup trucks. For Victor to get there will be a massive challenge. Any ordinary submarine would simply implode. So Victor has commissioned a radical new design. A prototype sub that today is being launched on a crucial test dive to prove its readiness for an assault on the trench itself.
This is the most advanced deep-sea submersible in history at this point.
The sub's builder is Patrick Lahey, whose team have spent the last 3.5 years designing and constructing this engineering wonder.
This full ocean depth submersible is the equivalent of a moonshot, and it has been the most difficult undertaking of my life.
To combat the enormous pressures at the bottom of the ocean, the sub has, at its core, a perfect sphere made of lightweight titanium. Any imperfection, and it would be crushed like a tin can. Construction of the sphere had to be incredibly precise. Each half was forged separately in the US, machined to add super wide-angle viewports and an access hatch. Then shipped to a test facility in Russia that once certified Cold War subs, home to the only pressure chamber in the world big enough. Finally, the sphere was assembled inside a streamlined casing. But the expedition isn't just about getting one man to the bottom of the sea. The team are also hoping to solve some of the great mysteries of life in the deep ocean. On the surface, the Atlantic is one of the most varied habitats on Earth.
The marine life of the Atlantic is pretty remarkable, from top predators like great white shark, all the way to all the kinds of tropical reef fishes, big or small, that many of us have seen underwater with our own eyes.
But what lurks beneath remains a far more tantalizing mystery.
It's easier to explore space than it is to explore our own deep ocean. It's very hard for us to communicate through the water to vehicles, and you also have the pressure, 15,000 pounds per square inch. Animals have figured out a way to overcome and adapt to that pressure, but we have yet to be able to really do that with our vehicle systems.
Could this new sub be the answer? Being fitted to the exterior are a set of highly specialized cameras designed to bring back the first ever footage from the deepest point in the Atlantic Ocean.
These are rated to 11,000 meters. If it implodes, it's like a small explosion, and it can sort of start a chain reaction. So we want to make sure that these housings are solid, don't want any water inside them, but you don't want them to implode either. That's a lot of pressure we're going to be taking them to.
The expedition's revolutionary technology is about to be put to the test. Today's target is on a shelf perched precariously above the deep trench itself.
The dive site today is quite shallow, just to get the sub in the water and make sure it's behaving itself.
Let's deploy. Good. Up on the main.
The mission is to make sure that the sub is truly ready, because tomorrow Victor will be extremely deep and on his own, and there's no room for error.
Good job, guys. Woo!
Let's hope we have a nice, uneventful dive.
Okay, get that hatch open.
I'm on. Got it.
All right, Victor, have a good one, man.
I'm in.
Hatch.
Hatch.
Up fast, up fast. LF, this is surface. Jose, you are free to dive.
Clear enabling thrusters. Okay, if you've got the starboard camera, I've got port.
Roger.
Firm hatch is sealed.
Yeah.
Maybe just a dribble right there.
I'm gonna hang on to it as we go through the interface just to be sure. Oh. We've got a little water coming in the forward end of the hatch. Seals up. Shouldn't have to do that. We're not getting the seal. That's not good. Oh, really bad. Go ahead, cut it off. Okay.
Surface, this is LF. Be advised.
We have leaking hatch.
What did he say?
Hatch.
Did you hear what he said?
There's a leak.
Before taking on the deepest point in the Atlantic, the expedition team have launched their prototype sub on a crucial test dive.
This is LF. We have leaking hatch. We are aborting. Just gonna go ahead and drop their weight.
LFC, no copies.
Releasing starboard weight.
All weight's off.
Surface, this is LF. Requesting pickup.
The only thing we could do under the circumstances was abort.
Yeah, I agree. We're not going down with water coming in so fast we can't control it.
So they've aborted the dive. We'll bring it back on and try and figure out what's going on there.
That's the only danger on the sub, is a leak. You know, in deep water, you don't have the time to think about that. You are dead already.
Back on the surface, and the team face a new challenge. The waves have picked up, putting the recovery process under intense pressure.
Okay, let's get that one tag line on.
We are missing a tag line off one side. You want to do it or not do it?
Let's do it, see if we can.
Come forward, come forward.
Come ahead, come ahead.
Victor, here Victor.
You never want to be in between anything when you're on the surface of the vessel, even a small boat and a submersible, because you can get hit pretty hard.
The Atlantic Ocean has given the team some harsh lessons.
Really disappointing dive. We were getting water ingress from the hatch, which we shouldn't have had, and it was just too much. But this was easy. Somebody else would have done it long before.
We're going to run out of daylight today.
That one.
Let's get her in the hangar.
The hatch is an issue. Got to figure out how to do that.
With the sub crew under huge pressure to make precision repairs to the hatch, The sonar scanning team are beginning their search for the deepest point in the Atlantic Ocean. The expedition ship is newly fitted out with a cutting-edge echo-sounding system that's one of the most powerful in the world.
This is a brand new system for the vessel, and it's the first time that this system has been installed anywhere in the world on any vessel.
By bouncing an 11-mile-wide beam of sound waves off the ocean floor, the team are building a remarkably detailed 3D map of this vast underwater canyon. The team are also on the lookout for hidden risks in what is in fact a geological danger zone.
The Puerto Rico Trench is an active seismic zone. There are a number of earthquakes that have their epicenters in this region.
The trench is a collision zone between two of the Earth's giant tectonic plates. One grinds down beneath the other, heading into the boiling magma of the Earth's core. The plate's downward fold is what forms the deep Puerto Rico Trench.
That interaction of the plates generates lots of earthquakes. Some days you can get 40, 50, and you never know when a large and a very large earthquake could occur.
Scientists predict that a massive earthquake here in the future will trigger a deadly tsunami with enough force to strike the east coast of America. The expedition is hoping to gain new insights into this volatile danger zone by bringing back rock and sediment samples from the very bottom of the trench. But all now depends on fixing the leaking hatch, and the sub-team are working through the night to find a way to repair it.
I just machined 1/4 millimeter off the bottom.
All right, I'll jump in there and put them in.
I'm gonna go ahead. Do you want me to close your hatch?
I'll get it.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay, it's just coming up to your hatch vent now. Just lapping over your hatch vent now.
It's all good, man. I got nothing in here so far.
How about that? 1/4 millimeter did it.
The sub crew are all set for a second attempt at a sign-off test dive. It's 6 a.m., and the expedition ship is alive with activity. As well as making the sub dives, a key part of the mission is to search for life in the unexplored reaches of the trench. Much is known of the wildlife visible near the surface of the Atlantic. Like these curious visitors, a pod of pilot whales. They spend most of their time in a narrow band at the very top of the water column, called the sunlight zone, where enough light filters down for plants to grow, which in turn sustain a rich food chain. But what creatures live far below, in the dark depths? How do they deal with the pitch black and crushing pressures? And what do they feed on? In search of answers, the marine biologists are deploying robotic underwater probes known as landers, which will sink to the sea floor.
So, Johanna, these are the traps. Two on the inside.
Baited traps will try and catch samples of anything living at the bottom.
There are 2 cameras on the lander, one facing this side. There's one on the other side. That one will be focused at a package of mackerel bait for looking at scavenging fish and the big mobile animals.
It's incredibly exciting to get to areas that we wouldn't normally get a chance to get some really nice high-quality footage of the animals we have a feeling are down there.
The sub-team are also making their final pre-dive checks, testing out a component Victor will use to bring back further vital samples from the deep, a $300,000 manipulator arm.
We have the hand controller for the manipulator arm.
Yeah, you're clear to come straight up.
The slave arm duplicates.
Looks good. I think it'll be fine.
At last, the team are ready to relaunch their prototype sub. Heading once more for the flat shelf over 3,000 feet down, on the edge of the deep trench. First, they launch the robotic probes. Then the sub.
All right, Ella. You're clear to dive.
Clear to dive, starting to pump in.
Good luck.
Everything's looking good. Didn't have a drop of water come in.
Beyond 600 feet, and the sub enters the pitch black of the twilight zone, where sunlight barely penetrates and temperatures plunge.
What's amazing is that so many animals have found a way, not just making a living, but thriving.
Like the vicious fangtooth. Its outsized teeth act like the bars of a cage to trap any prey it bumps into. Incredibly, some create their own light in a miraculous process called bioluminescence.
There's communication going on using light. Anglerfish produce light to attract prey. It's really remarkable, the exquisite adaptations that bioluminescence allows for organisms in the deep.
Now, over 3,000 feet below the surface, the shelf on the edge of the trench comes into view.
You're approaching bottom. See it?
I think I see it.
Will they encounter new species of the deep here in the mysterious twilight zone?
Wow. Look at these glowing things, whatever they are.
Wow, that's cool.
I mean, it's almost like a light.
On a crucial test dive into the twilight zone, Victor and Patrick now have the seabed in sight.
Surface, this is the LF. Present depth, 1031 meters. At bottom, repeat, at bottom.
The sub now goes into exploration mode. Victor has released a series of small weights to leave the sub neutrally buoyant. Now he can use 2 banks of propellers or thrusters to move in any direction.
But look at the clarity of the water. Look at the visibility, huh? It's remarkable.
Swimming into view comes a strange jelly-like creature, nicknamed the headless chicken monster.
Oh, look at these glowing things, whatever they are.
Bioluminescence.
A few hundred feet away, the robotic probes have also reached the shelf floor. It's time to see whether their baited cameras will lure in any other creatures of the Atlantic twilight zone. The first to arrive are specialist seabed scavengers. Hagfish.
They're quite gruesome. They'll actually burrow right into the carcass. The difficulty in doing that is, of course, you're getting deeper and deeper into the flesh, so you're having trouble breathing, but they can breathe through their anus to overcome that.
When a passing deep-sea gulper shark decides to have a hagfish for dinner, it's in for a nasty surprise.
Oh, you went for it.
Nice.
There you go. Slime. Right there. That's a hagfish defense response. If a shark bites the hagfish, it automatically excretes all the slime into its mouth, and in that slime is full of microfibers, so essentially chokes the shark.
Remarkably, hagfish also cover their food in a web of slime to keep other scavengers away.
Really want to try and get to a lander, use the manipulator.
Up in mission control, the team are using powerful modems to track the sub and guide them around.
Let's move north, true north, and we'll go 100 meters.
That's like 100 meters due north.
Wow, that's
I mean, it's almost like a light. Oh, wait, is that the lander? Oh, slow down? Yeah, that's the lander. Oh, yeah, you can see all kinds of critters. That's awesome. Look at it, there's a gorgonian there.
There's a big fish running on it.
I'm not sure what it is. It is a type of shark, but not one that you would see in shallow water.
Try and use the manipulator?
Oh yeah, we can definitely do that.
It's a chance for Victor to practice picking up samples, a key task for when he makes his deep dive into the trench.
And there's your arm, look. There's your camera. Whoa. Now line it up. What the hell was that?
We just lost the manipulator arm.
Oh my.
There you Maybe it's 300 grand.
Oh my.
The arm's auto-release mechanism has triggered an error, ditching it on the seabed. Without its weight, the sub is now making a rapid and unplanned ascent.
Surface, the manipulator just parted. We're on our way up.
Roger that. Left bottom. With no arm. Thank you.
Well, I don't know where we go from here, Patrick. We're very early on in the program, and when you start having these secondary systems having issues, you start having some concern about the core systems, things like life support, flotation, the integrity of the sphere. You start wondering if we really test these things at 8,000 meters, if they're going to have a problem or even a failure.
The sub may be safely back on the surface, but another huge threat is looming. During the dive, the waves have grown much larger. Getting the $35 million sub hooked onto the ship's crane is now full of dangers.
Just hang on, buddy. There you go, fantastic. I'll stop, up on the main. Down on this tag. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
A powerful wave has slammed the sub into the back of the ship and destroyed an entire bank of the all-important propellers. The mounting problems are causing Victor to have doubts about the entire mission.
I'm seriously considering aborting this mission in Puerto Rico. It's something I don't want to do, but it's something we may have to do.
Look at the thrusters.
What happened there?
Smashed them in the back. We got a tailwind that just skied straight down into the back of the boat. Absolutely heartbreaking. Could be game over for this particular trip.
The sub crew need to find a way to repair their damaged prototype and convince Victor that it's safe to pilot it to the bottom of the Atlantic, or the expedition is over. Meanwhile, the science team are retrieving their robotic probes released remotely from the seabed. And the traps have caught a wonder of the deep ocean, a monstrous relative of the woodlouse, the giant isopod.
The woodlouse or the slater you find in your house, you can find at high altitude as well, are actually the same as giant ones in the Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean. So in terms of successful colonization of the planet, isopods are pretty impressive.
While the scientists continue to process their finds, the sonar team have some vital news of their own. They've identified the precise location of the very deepest point in the Atlantic Ocean.
8400?
8400, yeah. It's a real proper target.
If it's there, you get one shot. Yeah. This could be tough.
The site lies at the western end of the trench, an area no one has identified as the deepest point before, and a location no one has ever explored before. But is the sub ready for this incredibly dangerous mission?
I'm willing to try anything.
First, the team need to repair the damaged propellers.
No, keep it up there. Keep the thing up there. Okay, over there. All right. Hector, stay and watch that thruster. Okay, clear to enable thrusters.
Thrusters are now enabled. Beginning thruster test.
Ready?
Roger that, go ahead.
Yep, looks good. Hey, McGee.
But can Victor trust the sub with his life on the deep dive?
We're going to have to make a reasoned judgment about whether to accept some faith in the team that they've solved the major issues. Just have to make the decision tonight and then inform the team about what we're going to do. So from my own perspective, I feel that the vessel is safe enough to try and take down 8,000 meters and come back up. If at any point I feel like it's unsafe, I'm going to drop all the weights I can and I'm going to come back up. It's a calculated risk, but it's like anything else you do in life, right? So we'll give it a shot.
The countdown has begun to the first ever dive to the very deepest point of the Atlantic. Even though Victor has never piloted the sub solo before, he will make the dive alone.
Let's do this. Ready to launch. Bridge, copy, boats are a go. Fingers crossed.
I am most concerned about approaching the bottom. If there is some flaw in the vehicle, that it would happen then, when the pressures will be the most intense.
Excited, scared, anticipation, all those things.
Godspeed, Victor Vescovo.
You're all happy, hatch secure, life support running. You're clear to dive.
Thank you. See you on the other side.
We're ready to launch. Here we go.
Ready to dive, starting to pump in. I think my heart rate just went up a little bit. Depth of 7 meters, 8 meters, 9 meters. We are descending. We are diving.
Soon, Victor's passing through the twilight zone, into a mysterious area so completely beyond any hint of sunlight that it's known as the midnight zone.
There are gelatinous animals there are fish there are things that we don't understand yet or know about.
One of the team's robotic landers has been deployed into the heart of the midnight zone, halfway down the slopes of the deep trench. Just seconds after hitting the bottom, a mysterious visitor emerges from the gloom. Only rarely sighted, an arrow-toothed eel which can grow up to 4 feet long. And lured from the shadows, an ancient creature with huge paddle-like fins which thrived in shallower waters at the time of the dinosaurs, the chimera.
We just crossed 5,000 meters. Pretty exciting.
Roger, LF. Have you loud and clear?
Victor is nearing a hugely significant boundary, 23,000 feet, the deepest any other manned submersible can go. If something serious goes wrong, there's now no hope of rescue.
After about 6,000 meters, we're pretty much on our own.
This is also the boundary between the abyssal zone and the deepest zone of all, the Hadal zone, named after Hades, the ancient Greek god of the underworld. The sub is now enduring crushing pressures equivalent to the weight of 250 Statues of Liberty.
Something's chirping over here. What the hell is that?
LF, confirm. Did you receive my transmission? My headset. Can't hear. It's too much noise. What is that noise right there? Try response. Response. I need you to come to all stop.
The team and mission control haven't heard from Victor for 15 minutes since he passed 23,000 feet, the maximum range for any rescue operation.
It's too much noise. What is that noise right there? Victor, can you read me? Oh my. Okay, I'm gonna go to the headset. Victor, can you read me? Can you read me?
Breathe.
200 meters to bottom.
Roger, LF.
Have you loud and clear?
When you're looking through the viewport, all you're seeing is black. And you're like, okay, where is it? Where's the bottom? Where is it?
Getting excited.
And then it comes into view.
Oh my goodness, I can see the bottom. Wow. There's the bottom. Wow. I'm at the bottom. Surface, LF. Present depth, 858.
Niner, at bottom.
On bottom, loud and clear. How about that, man? 8, that's great, huh? You piece, huh?
Victor has become the first person to reach the deepest point in the Atlantic, over 5 miles below the surface. The cameras are capturing a landscape no one has ever set eyes on before.
I'm a long way from home. It's like I'm on another planet.
The water is barely moving the sediment. There's no current here.
Hands are getting cold. 17 degrees down here.
The floor of the trench is thick with fine particles, sent into billowing clouds at a touch of the propellers.
Oh, it's all dark now because it's so much sediment. I can't see outside, it's black.
It looks lifeless, and yet, bowled along by the sub's blast are creatures that can survive at this extreme frontier of our planet. Transparent jelly-like organisms called holothurians, which feed off tiny particles of food they find in the sediment. There's also a set of mysterious tracks crossing the seabed. But there are more creatures lurking in the shadows. And the baited landers dropped to the seabed are beginning to lure them into the light. These shrimp-like organisms are called amphipods, high-pressure specialists and voracious scavengers. In the pitch dark, they have a supercharged sense of smell that can detect food up to half a mile away. In just minutes, it's a feeding frenzy. Meanwhile, Victor is making a more sobering discovery.
Oh, wow, looks like something's dead ahead.
A rusted oil drum. Although no one has ever been here before, human garbage has still found its way to the bottom of the Atlantic.
Totally feel like I'm in a spaceship. This is wild.
Victor's now been at the bottom for 45 minutes, and in mission control, there's growing concern for his safety.
We have to stop for safety reasons. I don't want him colliding with a lander on his way up.
The landers are due to auto-release in just a few minutes. If Victor doesn't leave first, there could be a damaging collision that would disable key features of the sub.
There's something dead ahead.
Advised, lander will be lifting off.
Say again, keep simple.
Leave bottom, leave bottom. You to end the dive before the lander liftoff.
It's
So he's pretty close to scaff.
Say again when you start talking more than 4 or 5 words on the radar, especially if it's not clear words. I don't understand it and I don't know what to do.
If Victor doesn't leave before the robotic probe's auto-release, there could be a highly damaging collision.
We recommend you leave bottom. Leave bottom. Over.
There's something there at about 1 o'clock. Understood. Leaving bottom. Leaving bottom. I just hope the weight releases work.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Surfacing weight was just released. That's the big moment when your heart kind of stops, and I have positive buoyancy.
Just seconds later, the landers also auto-release. A collision has been avoided.
Surface, LF.
Positive ascent.
Roger that. Congratulations. He's going to be popping up any second. Yeah, I see him.
Welcome back to the surface, Victor.
Thanks, Patrick.
That was one hell of a dive, sir.
Let's get him on board safe, McGee.
Real slow, real slow.
Victor Vescovo! Buckstar!
Thank you. Awesome. We'll get you off. Well done, everyone. Great job, team. One down. It's a great feeling. Got when I'm in, seeing the bottom of the Atlantic, first person to do that. That was awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Patrick. Thanks for training me.
Hey, man.
We made it work.
Beautiful dive.
Made it work.
Executed like to perfection. Damn, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. This is now the deepest diving operational submersible in the world, and we just took it where no one's ever gone before, so it's a great feeling.
And inside the traps on the robotic probes, the marine biologists are making a groundbreaking discovery.
We have at least 4 new species here.
I've never seen that before. I don't recognize that at all.
The discovery caps what has been a remarkable first step in the team's mission to explore the extreme frontiers of our planet.
We've assembled a team, a scientific, a sonar, a ship's crew. We have created this wonderful mechanism that can explore the deepest parts of the world's oceans anywhere, anytime.